need to talk because I've been seeing something on social media a lot that has really been bothering me, and I wanted to discuss it with you and how it may be interfering with your ability to have a healthy relationship. So, in the past couple of weeks, with the death of Nipsey Hussle, the rapper, there have been a lot of posts about his partner, Laura London, and about how they had such a perfect relationship and how it was just true love and their relationship was magical and all these awesome things about it. And then I was looking at Instagram yesterday and I saw this post about Russell Wilson, the NFL player, and how he had just signed a new contract, making him one of the highest paid players in the NFL. And everyone's talking about his wife, the singer Ciara, and the fact that she was so lucky and how she had secured the bag after having her relationship with Future that didn't end the way that she wanted it to end. And there was a lot of talk about the fact that Ciara has said in interviews before that when she was ready to meet her husband, she said a prayer to God, and that prayer helped her find her man. Here's my problem with these types of posts, because I'm all for couple goals. I'm all for expressing love and celebrating love. The problem comes when people start to glorify celebrity love to the extent that, one, they don't truly understand it and what it took for these couples to get to where they are, but also they start to get the wrong idea about how those relationships began in the first place, or how they can follow those same patterns in order to get the relationship that they want. So here's what I mean by that. Again, on the post about Ciara and Russell Wilson, there are a lot of comments that were along the lines of, hey Ciara, can you send us this prayer? Can you tell us what the prayer is line by line so that we can all pray it, all of us single women, and we can find our perfect men too? Look, there is no magical prayer that you can do to attract your purpose partner. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't pray, because I prayed before I met my husband. But there is no magical prayer that you can say. And there are 3 reasons for this. Number 1, first of all, you are not going to have a healthy, sustainable relationship, no matter what prayer it is that you say, if you have not learned how to work on yourself and heal from your past hurts first. Because if you are out here praying to God for the perfect man, but you're also, on the other hand, out here still being petty and bitter over your exes, those 2 things aren't in alignment. They do not go together. What you will end up with is a situation in which, A, God does send you that perfect man that you keep praying for, but you sabotage the relationship because you haven't learned how to heal from those past relationships, because you haven't developed any closure in those past relationships, because you haven't set any boundaries. And even a great man, if there are no boundaries in the relationship, he will still find ways to step over the line and do things that hurt you and offend you, because he doesn't know that those boundaries are in place. You can't blame someone for what they don't know. So you will either sabotage this relationship once you get the perfect man, or you will pray to God, but because you don't really believe that it's possible for you, while you are waiting on the right one, the one that God has meant for you, you will decide that you're tired of waiting and you will just settle for the first thing that comes along. Or God knows that you can't take the type of hurt that you would experience in those first 2 scenarios, so he just won't deliver that to you. Because until you learn how to truly love yourself, you will never be able to have healthy love with another person. And I'm not talking about self-love and I take time for myself and I have bubble baths and I treat myself to shopping days and all that. All of that is well and good, and I'm a fan of it myself. But I am talking about self-love in the sense that you are willing to own your issues. You are willing to own your past. You are committed to working on those things. You haven't just decided that everything else is someone else's fault. You are no longer addicted to victimhood. You no longer cling to that like a security blanket. And not only are you willing to work on yourself, but you actually do it as well. Because willingness and intentions are great, but until you take the time to actually spend time with yourself, to actually work on your mindset, to get a coach or counselor if you need that, until you take the time to forgive people, to ask for forgiveness, you will never truly be able to be at peace with yourself. And it's not until you're at peace with yourself that you can learn how to have a healthy relationship with others. My second issue with this whole idea of there being a prayer that you can use, that you just say that and you'll magically get your perfect partner, is that one, God is not a magic genie, but also it places everything on some external factor. Back to my first point, in order to attract healthy love, it requires work on yourself first. It requires learning to love yourself first. So when you are at a point where you truly believe that if I say some prayer and I say the words exactly right, I'm going to attract the perfect partner, or if I download scripted pickup lines and text messages, then I'll attract the perfect partner, all you're doing is pushing the blame for your singleness onto something outside of your own control. First of all, again, back to my first point, self-love is how you attract healthy love with others. But second, it's so disempowering. Like, why would you want to take control away from yourself? To me, that makes no sense at all. You have to know that whatever it is that you desire in life, whether that is love or career, more education, whatever your goals are, that you have the power to create and attract the life that you want. And when you are putting those factors into something else, into a magical prayer, all you're doing is making yourself weak. And my third issue with this idea of being able to say a certain prayer to attract a man, or just in general, this idea that you can follow what other celebrities do to attract their partners, is that it skips over the fact of whether or not you're in alignment with what you're asking for. So back to the point about self-love. Self-development is also an important part of the equation. So if you say that you want a man who is educated and who is smart and who is an intellectual, then how often are you reading? If you say that you want a good God-fearing man, how often are you going to church? How often are you going to Bible study and to revivals and conferences? How often are you turning the radio station to the gospel music station? You say that you want a man who is fun and adventurous. How often are you getting the heck out of your own house and going out and meeting people? You cannot attract the desires of your heart, whatever those desires may be, if you are not truly in alignment with those desires. So before you start on this whole journey of saying that you want to attract a partner who's like this or who's like that, ask yourself, are you that person that you're trying to attract? Are you doing any work towards becoming that person that you're trying to attract? Because if not, you're either A, not going to find him completely, or the two of you may meet and date for a little bit, but the relationship is going to be incongruent. And because the relationship is not in alignment, it's not going to last. So, once again, I am all for the celebrity couple post on Facebook and Instagram. I am all for seeing my friends and my family and my clients, once they find relationships, post all about their love, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, I think that we should celebrate other people's successes in every area of life. We should celebrate people getting more education. We should celebrate promotions. We should celebrate relationships. Because frankly, it's one of the main ways in which we attract more of that abundance into our own lives. When we celebrate others, more of that comes into our lives as well. But I want to make sure that you're not getting it twisted. That when you see a woman who is in a happy, fulfilled, cherished relationship, it's not because of some magical words that she uttered to God. It's not because she's a celebrity. It's not because she is a certain age or a certain clothing size or she looks a certain way. It is because she's done the work. Just like anything else in life, it is because she has done the work.